Chad is here to promote a mobile app for a recurring bit on News Time.
Hey Sharks, my name is Chad White, creator of the app Wet Socks. Have you ever been walking around your own house and there's a puddle you left but you didn't notice it, and you're wearing socks and you step in the puddle and then you have wet socks and then your socks are wet for the rest of the day? Well, this is an app for that. What does the app do exactly? I haven't gotten that far yet, so I'm gonna ask for $500,000 for 4%. All right, who's with me?
I'm out. That's sheer insanity. I'm out.
So I'm out.
I don't want to get into a space where the professionals weren't able to do it, so I'm out.
No, come on guys, nobody, you're just wasting my time. You flew me out here. Wet socks.
I think this is a liability nightmare. You don't have any claims that you can back up, so I'm out.
We all have it, you know? We don't know how to get rid of it. That could be it. That could be, right? Wet socks.
It's news time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the App Store news that you didn't know about. In a world filled with multiple options of ice cream and Kardashians, my personal fave is cookies and cream Chloe. Yes, at the same time. Everyone on this godforsaken planet only has two options for a phone operating system, Android or iOS. And for all their differences, they have an incredible amount of similarities. Both have pretty useful digital assistants, both have oversized cameras that we say we'll use, but we never do. And both are money-hungry app mongers. Yes, as free as Google appears to be with Android, there are rules that need to be followed. One of the biggest rules is about to get upended. Say you're an app developer and say you want your app to appear on both Google and Apple stores, and say you want to charge for the app, or better yet, make it free and charge for in-app purchases. Now, say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night.
Wait, too soon for that. If you want to charge in either store, you're only going to take home about 70%. Well, that's because at Google and Apple take a substantial cut for just hosting your app. 30% may not sound like a lot if you're doing well enough, but no, wait, yeah, it's still a lot no matter how much you're pulling in. This has to be the norm. This has been the norm since as long as app stores have been making money, but it's only recently that app makers are taking a stand. Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney is one of the most vocal opponents when it comes to an online store's percentage cut. In 2017, he was yelling about Steam's revenue cut, suggesting 8% would be profitable enough. However, this year, the fight is at a peak with Epic Games' Fortnite pulled from both Apple and Google stores after the developer pointed to users to its website for cheaper in-game purchases. Fortnite is one of the biggest games right now, so users flocking to Epic's site instead of spending their money on an app store is bad for the app store. But the practice also circumvented Apple and Google, who subsequently pulled the game from the stores. Now, though, it looks like Sweeney has teammates on his side. Spotify, Tile, and others are teaming up to take on Apple and Google. Finally! Those sons of bitches will understand what we've been dealing with for all these years. This newly formed coalition called, the Coalition for App Fairness. Easy enough. Their aim is to team with developers of any size in order to protect consumer choice, foster competition, and create a level playing field for all app and game developers globally. The organization is very upfront about their goals, and as they should be. Apple and Google are the only players in the App Store business. Do not mention Amazon, because if you're using their App Store, what happened in your life to get to this point? We've seen all of this before on a bigger scale. Google and Apple were part of a days-long four-way antitrust suit brought on by the government due to their iffy practices. Spotify has been gunning for Apple for years, going so far as to submit a claim in the European Union. Netflix, of all apps, only allows new users to sign up via its website because of the App Store percentage. And literally, as we speak, the Department of Justice is about to file a suit against Google due to their search engine dominance. The coalition's goals are simple: 1. Stop the anti-competitive policies such as forcing developers to sell extras only via in-app purchases. 2. Drop the 30%, which in the end affects developers who pass the cost on to users. And 3. Allow a competitor app store inside the iOS ecosystem so it doesn't have a monopoly. Along with their other goals, this seems all pretty lofty. But if more players join the Battle Royale, perhaps they can all partake in the winner chicken dinner. Wrong game? All right, well. The battle between Epic and the Coalition and the app stores is far from over. In fact, as recently as 2 days ago, Google said it was focused on forcing app developers to use Google's billing system, which means they will have to pay the 30% tax going forward. Unlike Apple, Google hadn't been enforcing the rule for every app, but that option is now out of the window. Additionally, the news site Android Police suggested Google's lax nature only came through on smaller devs, not the big ones. This fight between developers and app stores has been likened to David versus Goliath. If Goliath had $1 trillion or $2 trillion in the bank and forced young Asian kids to make loincloth products for very little money. Epic removes the Apple ID sign-in from Fortnite. The latest iOS update deletes the app entirely. The two can go back and forth for the next year and it still wouldn't make a difference. There's no real end in sight. And the only way is to read up on the biblical story of David versus Goliath. I'm just get my Bible here and whoo, boy, there's a lot of cursing in here. All right, well, while I read up on that, why don't you read up on subscribing and checking out one of our other videos? Of course, you can head to the website cpluscomedy.com where there are so many great interviews with your favorite comedians that you'll go, good job, buddy. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ChadLikeWhite. Like us on Facebook. Listen to the Constitutionals podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And now you can say it. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night.